Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Magdalenes, lesson 2. Hi Joy. Hi Catherine. Rachel. Hi Rachel. There you go. Who else have we got here? Mariangela. Welcome. I know we've got a few people who've said they couldn't come today, so I think we're going to be a small group. So we'll wait and see who else arrives. But we actually have quite a big lesson today because we have to take in some of what we didn't get to last lesson that I've put over to this lesson. So we're going to be doing that. So thank you all very much for joining us for this group. So what we're going to do, as we always do, is do a bit of sharing about our changing life work. We have our activation at the end, not at the beginning, so we're just sharing at the moment from our experience. So what was our changing life work? We were asked to practice with all the third eye chakras at least 3 times a week, and just to make an observation of how this feels for you, to notice any changes that occur in your channel over that time. You were asked to take yourself in the voidal heart and channel divine wisdom for your body from this voidal space, directly from your divine presence, and to do this one at a time, and then share what you experienced. You were asked to answer the questions, these questions for yourself, and share the answers with your body. When your body channeled, did you feel the frequency? How did your body respond to the body's channel? Did the channel expand you or contract you? Did you feel uplifted when your body channeled? And do you feel uplifted when your body channeled? So I'm sorry, obviously it was about you experiencing the frequency, how your body responded to your channel, whether the channel expanded you or contracted you. Did you feel uplifted when you channeled? And did you feel uplifted when your body channeled? It's really important that you give that feedback to your body, because it's very important that your body is sharing frequency with you as well as words. We're not here to focus so much on words, but we need to focus on the frequency that carries the words. It's the most important thing. So we only have a small group, so it'll be really nice. I'm just going to stop share so we can see each other a bit more. We'll come back to this in a minute. And who have we got? I'm just going to go through the list on the side. First person up, of course, is Catherine. So I'm going to get Catherine to share with us.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you again. So with regards to the body, we were only able to meet once because of circumstances that happened. And Debbie is my buddy, and she did channel. I didn't, and I shared this with her. I felt that it wasn't her divine presence. It was more her higher self.
Good.
And she was appreciative of that.
Yes.
It was still beautiful. I could still feel vibration.
Yep.
But she also was aware that that was what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to set up a time when I can meet with her again for me to do my channel.
Okay, good.
Yeah. In the meantime, though, I have been doing the head chakras. It's so when I've been doing them, after I've gone through all of them, bringing in the divine light, then I kind of do a thing where I bring it up to all of them, ending at the ajna and then going back down. So just experimenting, I guess. And I feel there's such a sense of sort of calmness, of grounding, and definitely more physical pressure between the ajna and the third eye, those two in particular.
Good.
So I'll continue doing it too, because
Yeah.
it's fascinating.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's that will center, and your intuition, your vision center, that you're working with. If you're working with those two, but getting all of them into balance is really important, because so much of the channel energy comes through those chakras,
Mhm.
and need to be grounded. So if those chakras are blocked, if they're caught up with stories or whatever it might be, then yeah, it's going to filter your channel. So it's really important that they're clear.
And I don't know if this is related to that work that I had been doing, but through the past few weeks where, as you know, Ishtar, and some of you know, my son-in-law died.
Yes.
So I'd gone over to see my daughter and grandchildren and his family. But I felt I really was the observer.
Mm.
I wasn't in the drama. I was there. I was present. So just this beautiful calmness, peace,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
With those head chakras, you can hold the points and breathe from one to the other and flow it through. But you can also just tap, as we learnt last time, you can just tap on those points as well. Just to gently, of course, don't give yourself a headache, but you can gently tap on those points. And that will activate them, it just sometimes just regularly tapping on those points. It's clearing all of that energy flow that runs through there, and just just doing gentle tapping on those points really helps as well, without giving yourself a headache, is a good idea. Thank you. Thanks, Catherine. Thank you for that. Thank you. Colin, you're next on the list.
Hi, Ishtar. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
With regard to the third eye chakra, I haven't done it for a while because we obviously do it in the scribes. I play the recording when I do it. So I'm actually just following and then using my hand to touch the various points. I do find I get a bit distracted getting the points right. It's not flowing for me as well as I would like it to. I'm feeling a little bit, as I say, distracted with the listening and doing.
So I would stop listening to the meditation, Colin. I would start tapping on the chakras, start doing the tapping work. So just
Yeah,
follow them through from the ajna all the way down,
yeah.
and then you can tap all the way back. Definitely, I'd just be doing that very gently, just tapping and awakening them,
Well,
and
that's
see how
I
that
like
feels.
that.
Just do that. The breath work. There's many ways you can breathe these chakras. The way we do with the
Mm,
scribes is slightly different to the way we do with the Magdalenes. And we're
mm.
going to do another way with the scribes tomorrow. So it's going to be slightly
Ah,
different.
good.
So you don't have to
Okay,
follow one way of connecting them. We do
okay.
certain ways because they activate certain energy. So find your way of, you can hold this one and hold the next one and hold the next one. It's a matter of breathing through and activating those chakras. So don't get stuck in one routine. Just do it.
Great.
Okay? Yeah.
That helps a lot.
And
Thank
you'll
you.
probably find
Then,
different ways will do different things because we're all
mm.
different.
And we can work the other way as well,
Yeah, definitely.
coming up instead of
Yeah, you
going
can
from
work coming
the
up and you can work going back.
Ajna.
Yeah.
Okay, great,
And you can
great. That's
focus
good.
on one at a time. You might just need to get this one going, or you might need to get this seat of
Yeah,
mastery going when you're in a bit of resistance or stuck.
yeah,
You might have some old repressed energies, or there's some subconscious stuff that you're not aware of you need to clear. So go down to the zeal point and give it a good tapping for
yeah,
about 5 minutes. And as I said,
yeah.
once again, do it gently, but you can tap for, several minutes. But
Oh,
work
that's
with the
good.
ones that, at different times, you'll just work with one of them because that's the one that's needing to open right now.
Yeah.
So work with that.
Good, thank you. Because
Keep
what I was
going.
finding is I was too much in my mind trying to
Yeah.
follow what to do and breathe this way and breathe that way. So I don't believe I was getting the benefit I should have. And
No.
that's why obviously I'm raising it now. So that's
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Then
free
as
yourself
far as,
up.
yeah, absolutely, which I'm trying to do in every aspect of my life. Um, as far as the getting together with my buddies, obviously we got three of us. So it started off, I felt a degree of trepidation about three of us meeting and how that was going to work.
Tell me who your
And then
three
I
are
just,
again. Who's the three in yours?
it's Harnell and Melissa.
Okay, yeah. Yep, that's right.
And then I just said, you know what, just surrender, just trust. We put together for a reason. And it was the most amazing meeting we had. It just actually flowed so beautifully. You know, we worked out how the three of us were going to work, who was going to channel for who, and it just flowed beautifully. And I think that was a great lesson in surrender.
Yeah.
You know, being in the mind and just surrendering and trusting what was flowing. So if I recall, I channeled for Harnell, and then it went around. We did one for each. In other words,
Good.
everyone received.
Yeah.
But from a different person, not both ways, because obviously if we were just two of us, we would have done it both ways for each other.
Yeah.
I think the commentary was that, did we feel the frequency? Yes. Did we respond? I would say my body didn't respond to the channel. I'm talking for myself. Did your channel expand you or contract you? It expanded for sure.
Good.
Did you feel uplifted when you channeled? Yes, I did. And did you feel uplifted when your body channeled? Yes, I did.
Okay, great. That's fine.
So overall, I thought it was good. We spoke about, you know, the energy of the channels. We believe we can still go a bit deeper.
You can always go deeper.
Always go deeper, but we said, you know, this is a journey, and let's not, you know, if we just felt no energy, that was one thing, but we did all say we felt energy. Even call it the observer, felt the energy of the channel to the other two. So that was also nice to hear.
Good. Yeah.
And I said, you know, I'm sure in 6 months' time, when we go back to this, we could say, well, that was pretty average compared to what we're doing now, but it was fine at the time. But, you know, we're moving forward. So we were happy on the day.
Good. Excellent. Oh, well, you know, things will unfold as you move forward. And it's interesting because we have had to do in a few cases with buddies, we've had to have 3. And I've actually found it to work really, really well. You know, when we've had 3, it tends to flow very well.
Yeah, was good. It was really good. I was very happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Excellent. That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. The next person on our list to share is Elena. Elena or Eleanor? I'm not quite sure how we pronounce it. I should know by now, but I don't. I have a blank.
Yes, hello
Hello.
everybody.
Is it
in Russian
or
in
Elena?
Russian
Is
in
it
Russian
Elena?
we say Yelena. In
Elena.
English there is no letter like yeah, Yelena.
Yeah.
Yelena. So it's kind of Elena maybe, I don't know, or Helen. It doesn't matter. Thank you.
We'll try.
So about my new body, Ludmila, that was really a beautiful meeting. We already met, I think, 4 times, maybe
great.
more. Yes, we did. We decided to do, you know, step by step, but more often. So we channel for each other after the meditation, after this vital heart meditation. But first day me, for example, next day she. So we divided did it partly, and the latest meditation, the latest meeting was her channeling for me, but not with writing, but she was saying word by word.
Yeah.
And it was like 5 pages. We didn't put the recording, and I was very quickly trying to write it down, and it was something amazing. We will send you the text. What was
please do. Yeah, please do.
It was something incredible. In that time, I really felt me in the flow, in a huge energy of flow, and I believe she is because she even couldn't talk after this channeling. She said, "Okay, tomorrow we will talk. Now I need to little bit lie down." So
big energy, big frequency,
big energy, amazing. great experience for me. It's believe I didn't try that. I will try to do that next time probably. So regarding the chakras, head chakras,
Yeah.
I tried myself first. I tried myself and didn't feel so much intense, but I felt a kind of helmet, kind of helmet around the head and all this area. And also, thank you so much, because for me, 1 year I was really wondering what is it, the zeal, because I heard it from the previous meditation and couldn't find it. What is it, the zeal? Now I know this.
Now
This
you
is
know what the
chakra is
deal is.
here.
Yeah.
No information in internet, no information about that.
No, there
Couldn't
isn't.
find
No.
it. So, but when we start to do this practice with Ludmila together, we did it a little bit longer and with breathing.
Mm.
So I understood then when I continue to do it more longer, that just keeping doing more longer, I don't know, around 3 minutes or 5 minutes each chakra, and breathing deeply,
Yeah.
inhale and exhale. And I feel now, then I feel this kind of, in my case, I feel this kind of this area, but
Good.
whole area became open. And I decided to meditation, six-sided star meditation. So when I go with the divine pure light from the source,
Yep.
when I go down till the crown chakra, then I stop the meditation and start to do all these chakras,
Mm-hmm.
breathing with divine light, all these chakras, and then I put on and continue meditation, six-sided star, go down.
Yeah,
So
good.
it's I included in the meditation of
Okay, in your
six-sided
chakra
star,
meditation. Great.
and then it works. So it's not like separately,
Yeah.
So it's just open the pillar. Now it's I open the full pillar of
Yeah.
with the all chakras. So it's just for me, it works. So the for me, after this meditation and work together with the body, this whole complex became uh, I arrive to more deeply connection with my divine
Good.
presence, what I feel. So I can do it very easily,
Good.
and
Excellent.
I can prolong it when I come back to the present moment more easily, more quickly, and it's really feeling, so how to say, I feel these relations now with my spirit more deeply. So it's like not from time to time I asking him to come, but I really feel it. Sometimes I feel it so strong that I really immediately start to cry, so I cannot control it. So deep connection from time to time. It depends on the it not depends on anything. It uh, doesn't matter where I am, at home or somewhere outside.
Yeah.
Uh, when I ask him to come and start to breathe, suddenly I feel so much connection that it's I start to cry. So that kind of relations now I have with my spirit. So
Beautiful.
it's like
Good.
a kind of proof that you see, you feel it, you
Yeah.
kind of proof for myself. Yeah. So
It's flowing very well. Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I just want to say to all of you, if you're tapping or you're holding and you're breathing from one chakra to the other, just do that. But don't do circles on your chakras. Don't do circles. And if you do circles, always do them clockwise, never do them counterclockwise. But please try not to do circles on your chakras. You don't want to upset the vortex. So you're either tapping, saying, wake up, wake up, wake up. I want you to open, I want you to wake up, I want you to be present. Or I'm connecting, I'm making a connection. The breath is what makes the connection. So you're holding, one to the other, and you're holding and you're breathing and you're connecting them and you're activating that ley line in your head. But you don't want to do circles. So don't use your fingers to do circles. Yeah? Okay? Yeah. No. Don't do
No.
circles. No.
Okay. Real
No.
strong
No,
message.
no, no circles. No circles.
I see.
Yeah, don't be willful.
Yeah.
Don't do circles. You're closing your chakras down when you do that, so you don't want to do that. Do
Uh-huh.
tapping. You want to wake them up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Be present, or connect. One or the other, but no circles. Don't rub them in circles, please. Not the way to do
And when we are saying
activation.
about clockwise, what
Yeah,
is that?
no circles. Stop
Clockwise?
doing it.
No clock. Okay.
Stop. Please stop.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Who have we got next? Eureka, you're next.
Hi everyone.
Hi, beautiful. You there?
Yes, can you see me?
Hmm. There you go.
Hello. Can you hear me, Ishtar?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I have a meeting. I had a meeting with Marianne. Marianne is my body for the Magdalenes, and we have met only once, and we are arranging to meet more often, but due to the schedules, it has been a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
The first meeting we had was a connection, getting to know each other, and we did listen to one meditation, but we didn't do the void of heart and exchange channel yet. So we will do that in the next session.
Good. Good. And how are you going? Do the head chakras.
The head chakras for me, I did according to the instructions with the breathing.
Mm-hmm.
I often do them this time around, more often actually than last year. I did try the rounding, but I got confused with it, so I just continue with the
Yeah.
breathing.
That's
But
not
I will
too
try
tricky.
with the tapping.
Tapping.
And
Tapping.
I had a sense that all of the head chakras wants to be touched, because with the breathing we tend to we don't touch the other chakras, so it's just the other one. So I'll try to tap them one by one,
Tapping's
just
good. Yeah.
to get the feel on it. I do notice, Ishtar, that I think Catherine mentioned as well that the forehead, it's like an expansion. My head is getting big, like
Good.
that's from the physical.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, what's happening?
Good. Yeah.
I don't know what it means. I don't know. I had migraines lately. I don't know if it's something to do with it, but I said, okay.
Well, if you're having migraines, you need to work very much with that zeal and galactic point. Those three points on the back of your neck, back of the head and the neck. So that's where you need to work for migraines.
Yeah.
So, and also you might need to make sure as the head expands, that energy feels better, bigger in your head, is to then start sending it down your pillar into the earth.
Yes, that's the last part that I do
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
finish the head
Well, if you're
chakra.
getting migraines, you might need to just ground it a little bit more.
Okay.
So work a little bit, because sometimes, you know, that all that subconscious energy, consciousness, which is thoughts and beliefs and all sorts of things that we don't recognize, we're not mindful of, sits there, and you know that can affect you with migraines. So
And the more that I'm doing the head chakras, Ishtar, is that I have this expansion of my multidimensional being, and even more connected to the galactic consciousness. I start meeting people that are more into galactic consciousness.
yeah.
So that's definitely opening up when I do this more.
Good.
You know them, they come, and I said, okay. Yeah. So that's also what's happening.
Yeah. There's lots of stories in galactic consciousness, so just be careful not to get caught up in those stories.
Okay.
Of the galactic consciousness, yeah, because a lot of people that are connected to the galactic consciousness get very caught up in old stories, so you just need to be a bit careful. which are then repeated on the earth. So just be a little bit careful, because it's part of our consciousness. It's not separate. So understand that.
Okay.
You know, much better to, if you really want to get out there, go and collect celestial. Go and do more celestial consciousness. Yeah, go a bit further. Go a bit further in your being.
My higher self is connected to the celestial consciousness. So
Well,
thank
see,
you.
there you go. Yeah, yeah, which is beautiful. Yeah, so expand that a little bit more. Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of galactic stories we run. There's lots of different stories. And if you go through, if you go into the DNA body that's in our Path of the One Heart, it'll remind you of all of those galactic stories. And when you hear people who are caught up in that galactic stuff, all the stories will be found there. So they're all there. But, you know, once again, it's like the Earth stories. Don't be too caught up in all of them. They're stories. We actually want to be free of stories. We want to be in that expanded state where stories don't matter anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, and the whole reason your head's expanding is because you're the channel. So, you know, it's about expanding that consciousness. The channel is moving through those points. So, it's certainly, they need to be expanded, letting go of the filters.
But it feels like the head is so small, but then
The energy is much greater. Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we want all those filters to be released.
Celestial it is. Thank you, Ishtar.
Thank you, Eureka. Thank you. Okay. Joy. Joy, you're there. Hi, Joy.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Yeah, so I also, when I first started, working with the head points, was trying to picture clockwise and which direction that was circling, and that was just too confusing. So I did start tapping, and it's definitely way better tapping, because then I'm not thinking.
Yeah.
I was too much in my head before that.
Yeah, it's confusing when you do the circles.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that, but if I see you doing circles and you're doing them the wrong way, it's not going to be. So tap instead. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did discover that the tapping is so much better. I did have a lot of burning on the zeal point in the beginning, not so much now. And occasionally I do feel like different ones of the points will seem like it's buzzing. So it's definitely been an interesting experience with that, doing it frequently.
What do you think that's telling you when it's buzzing?
I think maybe I'm starting to receive something that maybe I'm in resistance to, and I'm not fully completely opening to it.
Yeah, could be. Could be it's very activated. Energy is coming in, it's activated. You know, if you weren't,
Okay.
if you're not receiving it, you probably wouldn't get any buzzing. You'd probably get a bit of pain, or you'd get a headache or something. But you probably, the buzzing's usually meaning that chakra is activated. When you get that buzz, it's the activation.
Okay.
Yeah. And it could be consciousness knocking on the door.
Okay.
But if you're actually not receiving it or choosing to shut down to it, you're usually going to get pain and not buzz. So yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's a good thing. All
you
right.
might get a bit of I've got a bit of a headache, or you know, that's a different thing. Yeah. Or your head just feels really tight or something. But if you're buzzing, if any of the chakras are buzzing, it's usually because it's highly activated. And you know, you don't need to. Your mind doesn't need to understand what you're receiving. We really need to move on to this thing that I have to know what we're receiving. You know.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Because we're receiving frequency, and just trust that when we're receiving higher frequency, it knows what to do. It doesn't need your mind to tell it. It doesn't need your mind to create something around it. It will flood through, and it will go where it needs to go, and will activate whatever it needs to activate. And maybe 3 days later, you'll have a sense of something that you didn't have a sense of before.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm saying this to all of you because it's so important for the channel to surrender and not to trap the energy and try and what's it saying? What's it saying? What am I going to do? You know, it's let that go and just allow and surrender for it to flow, whatever that energy is, whatever that frequency is. You know, I mean, at the moment, it's like all these solar flares and stuff that's on the planet, all this plasmic energy. And I see all these warnings, oh, you need to do this and you need to do that. And, you know, this will do this to you and this will do that to you. And basically what it is, it's all resistance to receiving, you know, consciousness. It's of a higher frequency. Um, I'm going to say to you that in my 20 years, my learning with the masters is when that high frequency consciousness comes, surrender. Stop trying to control it. Stop trying to understand it. Just surrender and let it move through you. The more you go into resistance, the more you try and control it through your mind, wanting to know, oh, what does this mean? What is this saying to me? I must know right now. The more you'll struggle with it, you know, and the more you will get all those symptoms that people are talking about. But if you just surrender and just let it flow, then it actually does almost like a big cleanse. It does this huge energy shift. And, you know, you might feel that 3 days later, you might feel it 7 days later, you might feel it 3 weeks later. But if you just let it flow through your being instead of trying to control it, or, you know, need to have a knowing of what it is all the time, you'll have a, you know, you won't know. But if you just surrender to it and let it flow, you know, it's like, you know, often I receive a lot of high frequency, and I'm sure all of you do. And often I'm lying in bed and it's like I've got my fingers in an electric socket, you know, and I'm, you know, and this can go on for a few hours. Sometimes it goes on all night. But if I was in resistance to that, and in the old days I used to be, and then I'd be in pain and my body would ache and, you know, all of this would go on and what is it doing? What's going on? Oh, something's wrong. But when I surrendered to it and just let go and just be there and I breathe and I just, then I usually just fall asleep buzzing, but I also trust that I'm being, I always call it given a bit of an update, given a bit of activation, and I trust that whatever's being downloaded is perfect, you know, and I just trust that, let it do its thing, you know, and it does. But as soon as I go into resistance and want to try and control it or try and think it or try and, oh, I'll sit up and I'll get all these messages from it, you know, then, you know, I'm in resistance. I'm trying to control it all. A channel really needs to surrender. It's part of being a channel. It's a really big part of being a high frequency channel is surrendering your mind control, which is automatic. You know, I'll say this to all of you. It's automatic that we want to do it, and but the thing is, it's actually not what we're here to do. We're here to surrender to it and to trust the high frequency. So try that next time you're feeling that buzz.
Will do.
Yeah. And sometimes you do. You need to just go and lie down with that buzz, you know. It's like, oh, I'm going to go and put my head down for a minute, you know. And that's
Right,
okay. Yeah, that's okay. Don't resist. Just go. Because you've invited this buzz in. You've invited this high frequency to come. So when it comes,
Right.
don't resist it and don't control it. Just flow with it. Let it flow. Yeah. It'll make a big difference. How did you go with your buddy? Did you do the buddy work? Sorry, we've got sidetracked.
Yes. Yeah. Rachel and I, we've met 4 times.
It's underneath you, yeah.
Oh, it's been so wonderful. Definitely, I have felt the frequency when she's channeling, and it's just been very, very beautiful. We've both commented that we don't necessarily remember all of the words, you know, but
Good.
we definitely were feeling the frequency, and we have recorded everything too, so we can go back afterwards and re-listen to what we were channeling on another day.
Good.
But it's so just an amazing, it's been different every single time. Like the way that the messages came through, unique and beautiful every time.
Excellent. Good. And you don't need to remember them. You know, really, when you're in high frequency channel, you won't remember anything. And you really shouldn't be remembering anything. I mean, after you finish, a couple of minutes after you finish, you might grab a few sentences, but after that, it should just disappear from your mind, because your mind shouldn't have been engaged. So if you're still remembering the detail of your channel, your mind's still too engaged. You actually need to disengage the mind. This is the work of a high frequency channel.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Which is why it's good to record, because then you can go back and you can listen and go, oh, wow, there you go. Thank you. Thanks, Joy. Debbie, you're there. Do you want to share with us how it's been for you? Catherine's already shared her side of the buddies.
Hi, Ishtar. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
As you probably have heard, I missed Catherine's part because I got on late.
No, that's all right.
That
She gave a good account.
we've only got
Debbie,
together
don't worry.
once.
She gave a very
Sorry?
good account. She gave a very good account of your session.
No,
That's
I
good.
wasn't worried about that. I just didn't
I
hear
know.
it. What I found was, what I got from Catherine was that it was interesting because she said to me, "Who do you think you're channeling?" And straight away I knew it was my angelic self.
Yeah.
And so next time we had to not see each other for a while because she had to go over to England, but or through her family,
States.
but out to the States, sorry, yeah. But so because what had happened at the beginning of the channel, I just called in my angelic self. It just happened automatically, and I realized, and I could actually feel the energy of that.
Good.
And so we're going to do it now with my divine presence. So I think that'll be better. So that was a really eye-opener for me, because I could actually feel the difference, you know, feel the...
And that's a beautiful thing, that you could experience the difference. That's wonderful, you know, that you could sense the difference and the frequency is different, and that your body could sense that. So well done, both of you. Well done. That's wonderful.
Well, I didn't know I knew, but when she asked the question straight away, I did know. So
yeah, good.
there was a part of me.
Yeah, there's
I
nothing wrong with
find
channeling your angelic self.
yeah. I find with the head points, the one that I have got the most activated is the zeal point, and I think that's always been quite activated in mine. Like I feel it a lot. It's for years. That gets very as soon as something happens, I can actually feel it start to open. So I think I need to concentrate on the other points a bit more and get the balance with them.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that what you suggest?
Yes, and look, the zeal point's often very activated because there's a lot of unconscious energy, all that subconscious stuff that sits there.
Okay, yeah, right.
So it is often, you know, for all of us, we have a lot of energy that sits in that zeal point that we've not worked with. So it will come, you know, it's quite normal for it to be very activated, so don't be concerned about it.
Yeah.
But we work with the other. We should be working with all the points. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm really enjoying everything.
Good.
I love working with the Magdalenes. It's really made a big difference in my life.
Good. I like working with the Magdalenes too.
It's just such a beautiful energy, and I found that it's much easier just to, that energy tends to stay with you without doing very much. It's like once it's activated, it seems to be awakened.
Yeah.
That's what I've found anyway. So
good.
I'm sure it'll happen a lot more to me, but at the moment, that's how I feel.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, Debbie. It's wonderful. That's great. That's what should be happening. Yeah. Good.
So thank you, Ishtar.
Thank you. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, Catherine.
Okay, we're going to go to Carolyn now. Carolyn's there somewhere. There you are, Carolyn.
Hello.
Hello. Just remind me who your buddy is.
Christine. Christine.
Christine's your buddy. Oh, and she's not with us tonight because she's doing something. Yeah.
Yeah. For the head chakras. I also did it wrong. I circulate,
Yep.
but now I will try it with the tapping.
Do the tapping. I mean, as long as you're circling clockwise, it's fine. But just make
Yeah.
sure you're circling clockwise and not
Yeah.
doing the anti-clockwise stuff. Yeah.
And I'm not so also for the tapping. I'm not so sure how long we
As
should
long as
do
just
each
tap
point.
until you'll feel when to stop. Just tap.
Okay.
Yeah, just do gentle. You'll do some longer, some shorter, and just feel into it. And you'll just,
Okay.
just intuit what it feels like.
Okay, yeah, that's what I have done.
Yeah, just follow your guidance, how you feel about it. Yeah.
Yeah. During the day, I often forgot to do the head chakras, but I do it often in the evening, and I bring my baby to the bed.
Yep.
And it's very nice because my head is expanding.
Yes.
But it's very nice for me. It's like a deep breathe in, and like deep breathe from the day, like yeah. So big relieving, and yeah.
It is, because all that stuff that's in your head releases.
Yeah.
And that's some of the why we do this, is because we want all that stuff in our head chakras to be released. We don't want it there.
Yeah. And the first 2 times I did it, the points in the back, that was a little bit painful, not like a deep hurting pain, but it was a little bit painful, like, this point is touched for the first time.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah. Yeah. But now
like a muscle that hasn't been used.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah. But it's getting better now.
Good.
Yeah. And with Christine, we met 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
The first time we know each other from the Kundalini yoga, so it was nice. So, yeah.
Good. Oh, right. Oh,
yeah. From the training, and it was like, yeah, remember. And the first time we did the head chakras, and the second and third time we listened to a meditation, and then we channeled for each other.
Good.
And it's interesting because before the channeling, I'm always a little bit afraid that I maybe don't receive anything, or that I can't surrender, or so. But due to the meditation, it's helpful to connect to the Magdalene energy. And what is also, and then I call my angelic higher self and my divine presence, and then always something is coming very easily, and it's nice to see that I can trust on them.
Yeah.
That it's only my personal ego that I have, but I'm afraid that I have to make up something also. But as soon as I'm connecting to my angelic higher self and the divine presence, it's flowing, and I don't have to search around, or it's just coming.
Yeah. Carolyn, everyone here, we all have that fear before we channel, that something won't happen, or it won't come through, or we'll say the wrong thing, or won't, whatever. So everyone does. Everyone has that little bit of, that fear. So it's not just you.
Good to know.
Yeah. It's not just you. Yeah. So it's normal. It's very normal. Yeah. And it's so beautiful that you're discovering that you don't have to worry. You can trust the channel. And I used to always worry about that with the masters. I do workshops and think, oh my goodness, maybe they won't turn up. What am I going to do? I don't know anything about this. And over the years they've always turned up, so I've learned to trust them. But I must admit, in the early days I think, oh, maybe they won't turn up. What am I going to do? I don't know about this topic. I don't know what this retreat's about. But they haven't let me down, so I've been very blessed.
That's very nice.
I know. No. So, but you know, I think everyone has that fear. So, yeah, you're not alone. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you very much. Where are we going now? We're up to Ludmila. You there, beautiful Ludmila? Hello. Hello, gorgeous. There you are.
Hello
Hello.
everyone. Um, I really loved the first lesson and the meditation on Voidal Heart. It did so much for me.
Good.
I've been working with feminine consciousness. It really went deep in me. And then when Elena and I were doing my body, Elena, when we were doing the body work, the first couple of times when we met, we were doing the meditation together and then channeling for each other. So I've noticed how different my journey is with this meditation compared to Merkaba. And it's almost like reaching other part of consciousness, as I really felt how it goes deep. Like with Merkaba, I always feel my divine presence somehow on the left up.
Right, okay, yeah.
On the left top corner. But with Voidal Heart, it went just deep and it was like very expansive.
Good.
And I could feel how that kind of voidal feminine space just opening up. It was beautiful to connect to it. And then the answers which I was receiving as I did this meditation a few times, they were kind of just variations, but of similar thing. And I'm a feminine consciousness learning about itself through life experience. I'm a conscious being of light, realizing itself through life experience. I'm here to experience life, unconsciousness experiencing life. So it was all about this theme, which was interesting. It's not that I was expecting different answer, but it was like, oh, maybe there would be something else, but then it was very consistent.
Well, that's a good it's a good thing. Yeah.
And then when we actually did circling, but clockwise. We were also wondering, when you do it on the back of your head, how is it clockwise or anti-clockwise? It's a little bit confusing, but I guess tapping is easier.
Tapping, because you'll avoid doing the anti-clockwise stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I did it only once with Elena, and I'm really grateful that she is also quite enthusiastic. So we meet a lot.
Yeah, good.
To support each other in this work. And so the last couple of times when we met, we did channeling with Merkaba. And I found that with Merkaba, I really opened my channel very strongly. And as Elena described, it was so powerful. It was long. It was just keep on coming. And when we finished, I cried a bit, but I also found myself completely empty. I couldn't move. I was just staring at one point. So my mind was so empty that I was thinking, okay, what do I do next? So I started breathing, just letting it settle. And then I had to eat something just to ground myself. And I was kind of like, I really felt the different frequency in my entire being. And I did another channel for another Elena from Geneva yesterday. We were going to do it at the end of level 1. And just yesterday we finally did it. And like when we did with my buddy Elena, the first time I was doing it as was talking through, because before I was trying to write it down or remember. And yesterday again I did it when I was receiving, I was talking through. And it was again so powerful. So at the end, I also felt very, very empty. So I said, sorry, I can't ask you for feedback, or I've asked for if she needs any clarification for around the guidance. I've been channeling, but I said I can't just talk about like something else because I just really need to somehow can get out of like empty mind. I need to get in connection with my mind at some point. So we agreed to meet another time just to talk about it.
And
So it was very.
that's a really good thing. It's a really good thing for you to acknowledge that you know, when you do a deep channel with high frequency, often just you're not able to talk, and you're not able to talk from the ego and the personality. And it's a really good thing to acknowledge and honor that, and just to say, you know, I can't talk, I'll, you know, finish, and I'll connect with you all later. It's one of the reasons why when I was doing all these channels live originally, I always put them, you know, tried to do them at the end, because I could not go on and, you know, be my personality afterwards. And it's really important, you know, we're doing high frequency work here. We're not doing personality work. So it's great that you recognize that and you honored that. That's really, I just want to pick that up, because good on you for honoring that.
Thank you. So you think, I kind of feel that maybe with more practice, the transition would be a bit quicker or easier. I don't know. It's
you
just
need to let go of the need for it to be like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah? It's important
so
to do that, you know, and to give that time. I mean, you know, I know when I do workshops and even retreats, sometimes when I'm in deep channel, I can come back quite quickly now, but I really need to just sit for 5 minutes before I do, you know, because it's a huge stream of energy that's running through you, and you don't want to cut it, you know, you don't want to sort of do, you know, it's very, you know, it's too hard to do that. Just be in it, honor that, and even say, can we just sit in silence for a few minutes, just while I, you know, if you really want to talk to them, just sit in silence, you know, or let it go.
It just came to me right now because I'm doing the inner child work with Rachel, and I'm just thinking I almost just now felt the connection that the deep work, although I had to go through certain resistance, as you know, but I just had this kind of like insight that this work, the deep work on inner child I'm doing, also helps to open my channel.
Well, it will, because you're releasing old karma, you're releasing old stuff, and you're releasing disconnection to yourself, you know. So when we have inner child issues, we have separation within ourselves. And if you're doing this work, it's also very deep work, and you're releasing that separation. And if we have separation within ourselves, guaranteed that the channel that we bring through is going to have separation in it, because it's going to filter it. And once again, we don't want separation in our channel. We want it to be, you know, we want it to be aligned. So we need to resolve all those old filters that we hold, which is, you know, the inner child holds a lot.
Particularly on such very fine level as the inner child work goes into.
Yeah, it's very profound.
That's been really beautiful experience. Thank you. The only thing I'm not doing, I have to admit, I'm not doing regularly my chakra cleansing, and I really want to do it. I don't know why. Maybe it's resistance. So even in level 1, I wasn't doing it enough. I know.
Have you got the cards? Have you got the cards?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
You know, I mean, put them on your phone or something or other, and just, you know, just on the bus or the train, or, you know, you don't have to sound out loud, but you know, and you don't even have to sound. You can just look into the codes and breathe through that chakra. But, you know, maybe do them when you're on the bus or the train or something or other. I don't know, or somewhere where you would like to do something. Instead of reading messages, maybe do your chakras.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the next person to share is Mariangela.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I did the tapping, especially on the back of my head.
Yeah.
Because I got confused again, and it did feel I was much more in the flow, like connected to a higher consciousness or something. Yeah, definitely higher. and much more in the flow, much more present. Everything seemed to make sense. And it did feel like I was in a, there was this channel of energy going through me. And I did quite regularly, perhaps not for a few minutes. I will try to do each chakra for, I don't know, I think I'll go for what I feel.
Yeah,
But
go for
sometimes
what you feel.
sometimes where they are exactly is a bit confusing. So again, I go for where is the energy, and I move my hand. And then the channeling, we met with my buddy, Mariam, just once. We managed to arrange a meeting, and she channeled for me. And it was, I could feel the frequency, definitely. I don't know if it was a higher self or angelic higher self. I didn't really pay attention to this. When I felt the frequency, I felt much more relaxed myself, like I'm at home. I can relax. It's comforting. I know where I am. And there were parts where it was uplifting and parts where it did touch some of my aspects. But also, I realized when I was thinking, okay, now is my turn, I have to channel, that I doubt myself a lot, that I can really do. And something I need to look into, and I need to connect more with this aspect. Is in part is a resistance, but it's self-doubt. Self-doubt. Can I really do? Can I really stand still and receive? And that is what has happened in this month.
And as we spoke with Carolyn, we all have that, Mariangela. It's not just you, So, but if you're finding it's really, stopping you from channeling, maybe contact one of the universal race healers and get some healing done, or go and connect one of the scribes and do some scribe work with them. Just something like that. So you can just put your hand up, and if you don't know how to contact them, contact me and I'll put you in contact with somebody.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. But understand it's not abnormal. It's quite normal for you to have doubts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't judge yourself about that. It's quite normal. And we just find that the more we practice, I mean, we've only been doing this for less than a year not even a year and a half. So, just be kind and gentle with yourself. It's not a matter that it's a race. The more we practice, the more we do it together, the more comfortable you become with it and the less doubts you'll have.
Thank you. But there is also another, I always focus on the negative things, but actually a few times I felt while I was receiving or while I was doing some meditation, I felt like it's something I want to expand more and I want to continue work on. And it didn't come from my mind. It came from, this is who I am. This is one of my gifts. So
beautiful.
So yeah,
that's
so
exciting.
there is also some,
That's very exciting. Yeah, that's
yes.
good. I'm so pleased. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Potential. Always potential from our higher consciousness. Always potential. Thank you. Marianne, seeing we were just talking about you.
Hello everyone.
Hi.
Good to see everyone. For third eye chakra, I think like most of the people, I did the circle, but I tried to do clockwise. Yeah. I feel pain, like lots of people are feeling pain, but it's mostly back of my head. Those points in the back, I feel pain. And I always had issues with my head. I don't know if it's related to this third eye chakra thing or not, but always my head, there is something that I always have pain in my head, no matter what.
I'm going to say to you, then stop the circling and start doing the breath work. You need to connect them all. They need to be connected more. So you need to hold, hold one, breathe to one, and then breathe to the next one, then breathe to the next one,
Okay.
all the way down and then all the way back, one
Oh,
after
okay.
each other. Start doing that, just focusing on the breath, opening each chakra, breathing through each one. You know how to do that, don't you? So just do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so just holding, and then moving the finger back and then moving the back and then, just doing it that way. There's something needs to be aligned with them.
Yeah.
There's some blockage here that needs to be aligned. It's old. It's very old. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Some old energy that's sitting there. So if you start doing that, you might find it'll release.
Okay. Yeah. I will do that. In my meditations, I used to always have it, but probably now I notice it more, that as soon as I start meditating, I see a big light in my third eye chakra. I just see it here.
Good.
So, I see it more now. And also I know what I noticed is I haven't done a lot of this practice, but I've done it. What I noticed is that I know I can distinguish my energy from someone else.
Good.
Before, I think I was confused. For example, if I was in an environment which there was a energy of anxiety or something, I was thinking it's my energy. But now I can see that, okay, it's not my energy, it's someone else's energy, that I can feel it. And I can easily ground myself, Before I was like, I was getting the energy and I was all over the world. But now I can ground myself.
That's wonderful. That's great, because I know we talked about this quite a while ago. So that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well done. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. When I'm channeling, I told you before as well. As soon as I start to channel, the tears are coming. It's just tears. I'm not crying, but just tears are coming. So that's the physical impact on me.
Yeah.
I feel the expansion. Before that, I always feel nervous, like most of you, I think, most of people. But as soon as I surrender, I start to get it, and it comes as words. So I talk.
Good.
But the only thing is, I don't know, maybe I still don't have belief in myself. I don't know. But for example, for my friends, they're asking me to channel for them, but I'm not comfortable. I tell them, I don't know if I can do it, because what if it comes from the mind? I don't know, because I know you. What if it comes? So I have resistance from doing it. But when I do the caretaker session with someone, always some messages come, and they're always been with my friends, and I somehow automatically channel through the caretaker. But for doing the Magdalene separately, because for the time being, it's mostly my friends and my family around me who knows what I'm doing. I have resistance of doing it for them. So I said, I'm not sure. I think it will come from my mind, and let me do a little bit more practice, and then maybe I come to you.
Well, that's a good thing. Do some more practice, Marianne, with your buddy, maybe in another couple of months. Yeah. Okay, but you don't need to do it for your friends. And I think too, sometimes we do channeling, and people get caught up in channeling and even psychic readings and stuff like that. It becomes a bit of a party game for people because they're curious. You don't want to do that. So always do in sacred space. So I just do a bit more practice. Another couple of months. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's good. Yes. So that's my experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Marianne. Thank you. Thank you. Melissa, we're up to you now. You just need to unmute yourself. Then we can hear you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Ishtar. Very good. I did get on a little bit late, so I'm just so happy to be here.
Good.
Very excited. Yeah. So so just with the third eye, like I've been doing the tapping.
Good.
And I'm finding because I had been getting a lot of migraines in the past over the last couple of years, and I'm finding that I'm not getting them as much as what I used to be before, Ishtar. Yeah, so just that release. I'm feeling the release of pressure and
Excellent.
and energy in that. Yeah, so really benefiting from that. Yes, as you know, I had 3 buddies for my yeah. And when I found out who they were as well, I was a little bit nervous, and you know, I've got Colin and Harnal as well, and then I just released all of that. And yeah, released it, because I know when I was doing Path of the One Heart, there was a lot of resistance to having a buddy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been doing a lot of work. I've been doing a lot of karmic work over the last 3 months, like really sort of doing a lot of work, and I was surprised that the resistance wasn't there, you know, when I met with my buddies. And yeah, so I've really started to look at, you know, with people that come into my life, what are the gifts I can learn from them. So that's sort of how I approached, you know, doing our first buddy session. And yeah, so as you know, I do the psychic work, and I've been channeling for a long, long time. And so for me, I thought to myself, okay, you've got to put that aside. It's nothing to do with a psychic reading. This is very different.
Yeah.
So I surrendered and I let that go, and I asked to go first. Yeah. So I thought, you know what, I know. I know. Ishtar, it just came out of my mouth, you know, when we were all trying to decide who's going to go first. And I'm like, what? Did I just say, yeah, I'll go?
Good on you. Good on you.
Yeah, I think part of that was because I know Colin and Hana are both mentors, and and my thinking around it was, you know what, I don't want to be influenced by what they're going to channel and what they're going to say,
wise.
right?
Very wise.
Yeah. So I just thought, you know what, I'll just jump in there, and if nothing comes, well, so be it.
Fantastic. That's so good.
Yeah. So really got a lot out of it. And I think because I have been, you know, I've been doing a lot of meditation for years and years, and so I've learned to trust myself and what's coming through me. So I surrendered to what was coming through, and I was like, you know what, whatever's coming through my mind, just say it, just let it go. Don't resist. Don't try to block that or have doubts, because I know, you know, we all have those doubts.
Yeah.
And I had them, you know, for a few years when I started the work that I've been doing. So now I just trust it, and yeah, when I feel it went okay, and
fantastic,
and then I started to think, oh, how is that relevant? You know, I started to sort of get the mind and the ego in the way, and I'm sort of listening to what's being said, and I said, you know what, just pull it back, let it flow. And yeah, I really enjoyed it.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I think you're very brave. I think you've done really well. And you know, that mind thing, it's really what you're just saying, you know, then the mind came in a bit, you know, afterwards. And that happens, but you know, I'm going to say to everybody, you know, when the mind steps in and starts having a talk and saying, oh, well, how is that relevant, and whatever that you're talking about, you really need to breathe and let that mind go, because you don't want to be having a debate with your mind about your channel while you're trying to channel. You know, it's because it really is very off-putting, because I know I've experienced it, and I had a big struggle with it when I first started channeling the masters. And it's so important to, you know, discipline the mind to let that go, and not to have that debate, not to question, not to think it could do better, because often the mind, you know, thinks it can. So, you know, if that's starting to happen for any of you, you really need to work with that, because don't make that a habit which the mind starts to doubt, question, debate. Oh, I wouldn't have said it like that. Oh, I would have said this. Oh, I don't think that's right. You know, that mental thing that's going on. And that's why we need to constantly practice being in the void so that mental thing doesn't go on, you know. And it's great that you could recognize that. I think you've done extremely well, Melissa. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say one more thing,
Yeah,
Ishtar.
sorry.
Is that I have been practicing like every second, third day. I've been practicing channeling with, so one day I'll call on my angelic high self to sit in my divine presence. And then another day I'll call on the Christed Masters or the archangels.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've just been inviting them to come in to I guess just to get used to their energy, just to get used to that, and writing down things as well. So I'm finding that really helpful.
Yeah, well,
really good.
You know, you'd be used to that because of your work of being able to identify their stream and their frequency. So, you know, that's something you've got a practice of doing. So it's not so hard for you to do. And that's great that you're doing it. Yeah. Because it's so important to get used to the stream. Yeah. Thank you, Melissa.
Yeah. Thank you, Ishtar. Thank you.
Now we're going to go to Rachel now. You see, you're the last because you're an R, because you're Rachel. You could have been right up the top, but you're not.
I know. I'm at the bottom.
It's all right. You have the last word, so it's good.
I have the last word. Nice to see you and everyone. Nice to see everyone. Yeah. So, so like a lot of us with the head chakras, I started with the massaging, but I was conscious of making sure it was clockwise, but I am going to start with the tapping instead. And but what I have become aware, and just as we've been speaking tonight and sort of focusing on the head chakras, is I can feel them buzzing and activating. So that's a good sign.
It is a good sign. Great.
Yeah. And so, but I did have one question though. My mind has one question.
That's all right.
The difference between the universal consciousness and the cosmic consciousness. Because when I think of the cosmos, I think of that being the universe, but
not necessarily. The cosmos there is a difference with the greatness of it, so there is a big difference between the two. And I'm just trying to think. Read it out for me in your manual, because I actually don't have a manual. So
okay, well, when we're talking about the cosmic consciousness, so through the crown chakra, you receive the universal rays of light from we had the cosmic point of consciousness.
Yeah.
But it's actually through the crown chakra that we're connecting with the center of your cosmic consciousness. So the crown chakra controls and energizes the functions of the brain.
Yeah.
And it's the center of your cosmic consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas through the universal point of consciousness, we're connecting with the universal mind, divine presence, and God consciousness.
Yeah.
The heart of your God consciousness.
So it's that one step up.
Okay.
In frequency.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
so the universal mind, you know, you're working with that God realization consciousness. That you are divine.
Which is
yeah. It's a slightly different. It's a different connection of stream that you're working with.
Okay. All right. And in answer to practice with my buddy, who is Joy, and as she shared, we've met 4 times, which is great, and felt a lot of similarities just in what resonates, what we're really connected to in our lives, and been really enjoying practicing with Joy, and really feeling, as she mentioned, every meeting has been quite different, but definitely feeling the frequency from her channel, feeling the expansion the upliftment in my own being, and both receiving as well as sharing. Yeah, and I noticed for myself that I'm really starting to surrender so much more and really trust in my channel, and you know, it's really, I think, starting to be seen, particularly in the last, you know, 2 channels that I did with Joy. I could really notice the difference, and with what was coming through, the wisdom, I suppose, that was coming through, I can really see that deeper connection, really opening to that deeper connection, which is very exciting. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
What did I want to share? Oh, but what I've become aware of just in everyone sharing is that I know the last 2 times that we've done our practice, I've been calling on my higher self rather than my divine presence.
Okay.
So
Right.
I have to be conscious of that, you know, future
And
sessions.
yeah, it's just different exercises you've been given to, and also, as we talked earlier, is recognizing the difference between presence and a higher self. So yeah, they have different frequencies, and
Yeah.
and you know, you're going to be calling on a bit later today. You'll be calling on your higher self and getting answers from your higher self. So a bit later in this session, so we'll be asked to call on your higher self, not your divine presence. So yeah. So we're working with both.
Okay. And so, and coming back to the practicing of the head chakras, I, you know, with what one of the girls shared, I think it was Christine, shared from her experience of doing that regularly and activating those head chakras, the shift that she's seen in herself. And yeah, I just noticed, I don't know if it's through doing more of the practice channeling that I'm really noticing that deeper connection and to my higher consciousness, or whether it's also from doing the head chakra activations that's opening too. So
Well, it's probably both.
Yeah.
It's probably both.
Yeah. So
yeah. But the head
Yeah,
chakras certainly help. When you really want to channel high frequency, you need to have those head chakras activated.
Yeah. But no, it's going well.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to continue. We may not get through everything tonight. I know it's going to get late for those in Sydney, but there's not much I can do about that. So you will finish with the meditation. So we will continue on, and just remembering your spiritual current always is the focus on the heart chakra, going out, opening up that consciousness. While we're activating those head chakras, the head chakras are allowing the frequency to move through and not to get our channel stuck. But of course, the heart chakra is very important, and they're all connected through the heart chakra. So remember your connection to the heart chakra. Remembering how to share your divine channel, just reminding yourself of that. This is in the manual. So just remember that when you're doing channels for somebody, remember that the person needs to be with you, whether in person or online, not out doing their shopping. You know, you need to drop deeply into theta, so you need to get used to going into that deep state, you know, and taking the time to drop to that deep state. I know we get all excited and we think we can drop into channel very quickly, but unless you're dropping into theta, then you're not going to be channeling your divine presence. I can tell you that right now. So you really need to go take the time. If it takes 5 minutes, if it takes 10 minutes, if it takes 20 minutes, take the time. Don't make shortcuts. It's very important. Remember who guides you. Don't forget to ask for help from Mary Magdalene, Ishtar and Maitreya, or the archangels. Okay, so becoming aware of change within ourselves and change all around us. it's so important for us to begin to consciously work with the creation principles of the universe and to really understand what they are. Now, read about the universal rays on pages, it's in your tools section in the Path of the One Heart manual. Now, the universal rays are actually the creation principles of the universe, how things work from spirit into matter. And it's coming into that self-mastery as a divine channel, really coming into that self-mastery, because whenever you're channeling from your divine presence or your higher self, you're going to be channeling a lot of stuff that's very related to those creation principles. And, you might be questioning it because you don't understand that it actually is a creation principle. So have a bit of a read up about them. We're going to do a quick look at what they are. As you come into self-mastery, your DNA structure begins to awaken, and you may find changes occurring in yourself, in your emotional self, your physical self, your mental self, and in your life, because the more and more you channel high frequency energy, there is going to be deep alchemical change occurring, transformation. As a divine channel, your light body is activated to a higher frequency level and eventually begins to move into the ascension process, where the DNA body slowly begins to activate the 12 DNA strands in the physical form. But this does take several incarnations to complete. Now, you may be starting that process for the first time in this lifetime, or you may have started it in another lifetime. But do not think that this is a race to do something. It's not a race to enlightenment. It's not a race to ascension. It's a process, and it's a process of growth. But become aware of the changes that are occurring for you. Become aware of what's happening at a deep level within you. Now, when we talk about the creation principles, when we talk about universal rays, which are the creation principles, I don't mind if you don't call them the rays, but they are the principles of creation. There are three major principles of creation from spirit into matter. When we come into matter, there are three principles of mastery. And it's about the soul mastery. The soul needs to master this in the physical world. Comes into physical matter. What are the three masteries for the soul in physical matter? The first thing is to align to divine will. That means to have free will working with divine will, and not just to be only in free will. It's to be very connected to divine will, listening to divine will, being guided by divine will, and using your free will to manifest divine will. But they work together, so it's aligning your free will to divine will. The second mastery for a soul coming into physical matter is to be unconditional love. Now, that is not emotional. We're not talking about emotional love. We're not talking about attachment. We're not talking about mental love. We're talking about a state of consciousness where all is accepted and all is embraced, all is acknowledged, all is honored, and there is no separation. So the mastery for the soul coming into from the spirit into the physical matter, these are the three masteries that the soul needs to learn before any ascension process is ever going to happen for the soul. And the third mastery for the soul of the creation principles is to live an unlimited potential, understanding that there is always potential and it's not limited. And it's not driven by the ego, it's driven by divine will. So there are three masteries for the soul when they come into physical matter. And there are 4 areas of experience for the soul that helps them to come into those 3 masteries. So these experiences help the soul to understand those 3 masteries. And they're called action principles. They're the creation principles that all souls will experience somewhere on their physical journey, which support them to come into the mastery of the 3 principles that we just talked about. But of course, each of these experiences are going to cause the soul to make choices, and it will bring them to mastery or take them away from those 3 masteries, depending on what choices they make. The first principle that or the experience that the soul comes into experience is the creation of harmony and balance in their life, or chaos and drama. So they're here to experience harmony and balance or chaos and drama, depending on what their free will is choosing to create. And of course, if they're not in the mastery of Ray 1, they will be choosing whatever their free will guides them to choose. The next experience is that reconnection to the soul and the spirit, no longer to thinking you're only physical matter. It's understanding that you are not just physical matter, and having that reconnection to your soul and spirit, creating that experience of that, instead of living only in the lower mind, to lift yourself to a higher consciousness, which of course we're all working on. The third experience that brings you into mastery is to come into the acceptance that all is divine, all originates from divine source, no matter what it is, no matter how you choose to see it, it all originates from divine source. It wouldn't exist if it didn't. And all returns to divine source eventually. So everything comes from divine source, everything returns to divine source, including you. So that is the experience. But if you're in resistance to that experience, you won't believe that. You'll think it, you'll come back into that whole separation issue of good and bad, evil and good and evil and things like that, bad, right and wrong. So that is the experience, once again. Whatever your choices are to that experience, whatever you choose to respond to that experience that you're having, will bring you into mastery or not. And then lastly, the fourth experience is to follow the process to transform all consciousness to light and walk the spiritual path. So in the physical being is to understand there is a process that we need to walk in order to transform our consciousness to light and to walk the path of spirit, to walk as a spiritual being on earth and no longer a physical being on earth. Still in the physical body, but understanding we are a spirit walking in the physical body. And there is a process of transformation to awaken that consciousness again. Once again, this is the experience that we're being asked to have as a soul. So it's sort of a journey. And then we are given support for this mastery, for these 3 masteries and these 4 experiences. And the support comes from the consciousness of Ray 8, which is all about resolution. So we are supported to resolve our karma and to release old pain and suffering if we choose to. We are supported to receive love, nourishment and support. That is there for us if we want to receive it. It's a choice we need to make or not. We can release all our limitations, including our judgments and our fears, and there is support for us to do so. We can regenerate. We can regenerate consciousness that has lost itself, that has gone into the darkness. We can regenerate consciousness that is stuck, that is trapped in its karma. We can regenerate our being. But compassion allows us to accept all that is. So through that compassion and acceptance of all that is, our consciousness can regenerate. And lastly, the last support that comes as Ray 12 is that we do return to spirit. We be all that you are through surrender. Surrendering to our spirit. We return constantly to spirit. And it's a cycle that we create. And there is support for that. There is support for that journey back to our spiritual consciousness. So these are the principles and the understandings. And as you're channeling, a lot of wisdom you will channel will be around all of these principles. There's a lot deeper understanding of all of this work, but this is just to understand about the mastery, and the wisdom that comes through divine presence often speaks to the mastery, the experiences, and the support that's available to you. That is part of that whole creation cycle of spirit stepping into matter. So just a little understanding for you. It's to help you understand that. So basically we're talking here about the creation principles that govern the divine plan of spirit into matter. So it's actually to embrace this self-mastery. It's very good to begin to consciously work with the universal rays or creation principles, so as depending on what you want to call them, that support you on earth during your many incarnations. Each ray represents the plane of consciousness you are learning to master in the physical form in each incarnation on Earth. Each ray you work with moves through your DNA strand, and as you fully complete working with this ray, a new DNA strand is activated until all 12 are completely activated through your light body. So these masteries, this experience, this support energy, it's about the choices we're making in physical matter on Earth as we move through our own plan and the collective plan, because we each have a plan. Understanding about the universal rays, once again I call them creation principles or universal rays, that's what they are, but every soul works with several universal rays in each incarnation to manifest their mission and soul mastery. These rays are the creation principles that govern your life and guide you on your path if you're willing to listen to them. You also work with your Ascension Council in between incarnations to determine what creation principles you need to master and experience in order to manifest more of your sacred mission in the physical planes of existence. Therefore, students of the Path of the One Heart are encouraged to experience a universal race healing or even to study it for themselves. There is a creation principle that governs the expression of your soul, the expression of your monad, the expression of your ego, your emotional self, your mental self, your physical self, and your genetic energy bodies. So this is part of your unique plan that can be discovered when you either have a universal race healing or you look at it. But if you just have a read in your Path of the One Heart manual, it'll give you more information. Because when you follow the guidance of these creation principles, then you are able to manifest right action and grace in your life as you anchor your soul mission. Instead of being in resistance to your plan, instead of being in resistance to the unique plan that your Ascension Council has given you to make manifest on Earth. So it's a good idea to read through these. I'll leave that with you to do. And just to update you, Universal Rays Healing is now online. The theory is online. So if you are interested, you can always go online and go and do that training online. It's really important to remember that your channel pillar is a communication highway. It opens up to all parts of yourself, both higher and lower consciousness. So when you begin to channel, when you begin to open that highway, you will experience this connection with both your light and your shadow. It's going to come. So be aware of that, because it's about expanding yourself. To expand your channel pillar is not just about receiving messages from somewhere. That is not what it's about. It's actually about expanding the consciousness of your being. And you begin to communicate with all parts of you. So you're not just going to communicate with what you might consider the better parts or the good parts. You're going to start communicating with all the parts of you, because it's about opening your being, opening your whole light body up. So the Magdalene is consciously connecting to the higher dimensional consciousness of your being, and you download vast streams of consciousness through the higher planes. So this is why you sometimes get very activated. Sometimes you might get aches and pains in the body, because the energy you're downloading, the energy that you're bringing through you, meets resistance if you haven't done your karmic work, if you haven't been cleansing chakras regularly. This can happen, so it's really good to know this. Emotions can come up because you're touching on some old energy within you, and the light comes in and it's going, hey, magnifying what you're holding, magnifying your shadows. So please be aware of this. These streams of higher consciousness often flow through many star systems in the universe, interconnecting with Source and the Earth through 33 star systems and galactic centers, which mirror the 33 primary chakras of your 12 energy bodies, as above and so below. So this is big work that you're doing, that the Magdalenes are doing. You're really opening up your light body. So and it will have an effect on you. It will change you. It will change what's going on around you. And it will ask a lot of you. But it's also very rewarding, because this is part of your ascension process. Your channel pillar is that multi-dimensional gateway that opens you deeply to the heart of the multiverse and your own multi-dimensional consciousness. So you have a multi-dimensional consciousness, many parts of you in other dimensions, and we also have a multiverse, so there are other universes out there. You may start connecting with that at some stage, not right now, and it may not be your path, but it is available to you the more and more you expand your pillar. When open, activated and grounded into the earth heart chakra, the channel pillar creates a union of the universal mind with the earth heart of your being. So when your channel pillar is really open, really activated and grounded, it needs to be grounded, it needs to be very anchored into that earth heart chakra. You are creating a union with the universal mind and the earth heart of your own being. So it's about the earth consciousness with your own universal mind, with that much higher frequency of self. So you're opening up that beautiful union, that beautiful connection, and discovering more about yourself. When open and activated, your channel pillar can integrate and ground the loving wisdom of your higher selves and your divine presence to begin to anchor divine truth so you are able to manifest right action in your life. So we're talking about some of the rewards of opening up your pillar. It's not just, once again, about what you give to others. It's actually about a huge shift and transformation in your own being, working as a Magdalene. So you're really opening up to that higher consciousness and your divine presence so that you can manifest right action in your life. Your channel pillar receives divine truth in the right sequence and maintains the purity of this consciousness, regardless of how your ego or other unresolved shadow aspects of yourself may filter it, which they tend to do, add to it or distort what is offered to you from your divine presence. So this is why we say to you, don't listen to your mind, don't listen to your ego, because they can create all sorts of stories. Just surrender and allow that energy, that consciousness to move through you, as I was saying to Joy earlier. Let go, let it move through you. It knows what to do. It doesn't need your shadows or your ego or your mind to tell it. It doesn't need to be controlled. Trust the consciousness of your divine presence or your higher self. It's always going to work to the highest potential for you, unlike your ego or your shadow or even your inner child or any part of you that's not aligned. Trust the presence a lot more than a part that you may have been talking to all your life, which is probably your shadow part, because we talk to our shadows a lot more than we talk to our higher consciousness or our divine presence. So, and we're so used to it, we forget that we're actually talking to a shadow, having a conversation regularly with our shadows, you know, which is good to acknowledge them, but we don't want to be guided by them. So we want to be guided by the higher consciousness, not the lower consciousness. When fully open and activated to a higher frequency, the channel pillar illuminates and expands all the energy in your being. Yeah? So when you're bringing in a high frequency stream of your being, whatever energy you're holding within yourself will become illuminated, magnified, which is expanded. So the light shone on, it's like a big torch comes in and goes, oh, what's in here, you know? And it's so important for you, this is why it's so important for you to do your karmic work, because channels who don't do their karmic work struggle. They really struggle. So do your karmic work. The channel receives the wisdom from your divine presence and allows it to flow and manifest in your physical world. And the more you do this work, the more you'll discover that it's affecting what's going on around you. It's affecting your own reality, your own physical world. An open and activated channel pillar allows this higher conscious wisdom to be transmitted to all your lower energy bodies, so it is manifested in your life and integrated into your physical reality. So please understand, this is not something separate to your life. This is part of your life. It's part of what's going on for you. And it will transform areas of your life. It will uplift areas of your life. It will bring to you what you need to look at you're not looking at, perhaps, that you might need to pay a bit more attention on. So don't be surprised when that's brought to you, because it's when you're channeling high frequency, it's divine light. It's going to do that. It's its role. All high frequency channels who have connected to the one heart of their divine presence embrace divine truth and become a beacon of divine love and light for all beings. This is the role of the Magdalene. When this occurs, source energy always flows through your channel pillar, and you open your heart to receive and transmit this source energy through all your lower energy bodies. So, once again, it's not just about channeling messages, it's actually a transformational process that is occurring for you as much as what you're sharing with others is helping them, depending on what their choices are. So as you come into self-mastery, you begin to control your shadows instead of them controlling you. You also do not want to embody another person's shadow aspects or other energies outside of you that you do not know. And I think that's very important. Please don't channel other people's shadow aspects, because you can if you want to, but I would highly advise against it. You're here to channel high frequency energy, not low frequency energy. And if you're not good at clearing your fields after it, then you'll get stuck with some of their consciousness. And you really don't want that. And don't channel other energies outside of you that you have no connection with. If somebody knocks on your door and says, oh, I want to channel through you, some spirit or something or other wants to channel through you, I highly recommend that you do not do that. When you channel from the higher mind, then the lower mind must let go. So you need to be in theta. You do not think about what you were saying, and when the channel is complete, the energy flow simply stops and there is nothing more to say. Now, when that happens, of course, if the mind is in control, then you simply keep speaking from your mind, because the mind thinks, oh, we have to keep going. We can't stop now. It's only been 10 minutes, or it's only been 5 minutes, or it's only been 20 minutes. And so the mind will then start filling in, and I can tell you, whenever I listen to someone channeling, I can tell you immediately when they drop into their mind energy, because it's a different frequency, it's a different energy. So you can tell the difference straight away. So when the channel stops flow, let it stop. That's it. There's nothing more to be said or done. Sometimes, higher selves and presence particularly doesn't say much. Presence is not, doesn't like to have a chat. It's not a have a chat sort of presence. It says very simple things, very deep energy, but it's not long usually. Presence doesn't have a lot of chat. Higher self will probably say more. Presence, very much to the point, very much high frequency, but won't go on for a long chat. Presence is not into chatting. It holds space and energy and frequency. And often when you've stopped speaking, the presence is very much there and it's just holding space. So don't be frightened to do that. Don't be frightened. You can sense it. You'll feel it. So just sit in the space. Don't suddenly go into your mind and start talking. Hold the space while presence is there, because the energy is still flowing. Simply because you're not speaking doesn't mean to say the energy is not flowing. Yes, Marianne?
Hi, Ishtar. I have a question regarding channeling someone's shadow. What do you mean by that?
I mean, don't do it.
Yes, but what? Can you give me an example, please? I didn't get it.
People have shadow aspects. You have a shadow aspect, don't you? You can channel somebody's shadow aspect if you want to. You can reach out and connect to it. And empaths are very good at it. But I highly recommend that you do not do it, because you then have, that energy will often get trapped within you. Don't do it.
Okay.
Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. So my recommendation is not to do it. So you don't need your mind to go there any further.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And the reason I say that is because I actually have been in a channel group long time ago, probably about 20-something years ago. where the teacher was getting people to channel other people's aspects, and it's just not something you want to do. So please, I really highly advise you not to do it. So, and you know, and don't let the mind control and fill in the gaps. You know, there's nothing wrong in a channel if there's suddenly silence for a couple of minutes, and then maybe the presence often does that. It will just be silence. Don't think it's over, because if you're still in the stream, then the presence has just got that. Oh, okay, we're not, and it often does that, and then it will talk. Then the presence will talk again. So the mind does not have to jump in and fill the silence. It's not necessary. So when you channel, if your mind is not in control, then you cannot remember what you said after about 5 minutes of completing the channel. So it's a really good confirmation that you're in a really deep theta state and that you're really channeling high frequency, that the mind is not even listening, you know. So it's a good idea to record your channels and or write them down straight away. If your resistance or lack of faith prevents you from uttering a word or speaking, then practice automatic writing. So if you're really struggling, and obviously none of you seem to be, which is wonderful, but if you do, then, and you can't seem to allow the words to flow, you're not trusting the words to flow, even though you can hear them and they're coming through to you, but you're not able to share them, then do it through automatic writing. It's a good practice for all Magdalenes to do automatic writing anyway, just to get your mind out of the way. So you practice receiving what is being offered to you. Always use your non-dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, use your left hand, and vice versa. So you're receiving directly to pen and paper. But if you're hearing the channel but simply cannot speak it, then just write it down or type exactly what is being said to you. You know, sometimes we can't speak it, and we write things down. But I always advise, don't forget frequency. Just be in the frequency. And often if you are doing automatic writing and because you're not able to allow the words to flow, if you do the automatic writing, usually in 6 to 12 months, you're able to have that confidence to allow the words to flow. So if you're struggling, practice with automatic writing. Now, yes, Carolyn?
Hello. I've got a question to the channeling. I often writing because it's the most easiest thing for me. Yeah. And I'm irritated of the language because very often I receive in German. Mm-hmm. So Christine, she's French, so I have to translate it afterwards.
Yeah, that's hard, yeah.
But is that normal? Sometimes I also receiving English words, but it's confusing.
It's very good to receive and to channel in your own language, and not, you know, it's much better to channel in your own natural language, even if you're speaking it or even if you're writing it, to channel in your own language. And if you're channeling in your own language, I mean, once again, I'm going to say this to all of you with your buddies, if you're channeling in your own language, it's still about frequency. So your buddy's still got, you know, the buddy still needs to feel frequency. So even if and it's very good practice for the buddy not to be able to understand if they don't speak your language. It's good practice for the buddy not to get attached to words and just to sit and receive frequency. I think that's excellent practice. And, you know, record it and then maybe just translate it for them, write it down in English for them or something. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's much better to channel in your own language. I think it's much better. Unless you know, I rarely, you know, I do speak French, but I've rarely channeled in French. Sometimes Saint Germain comes in and does it for me, but I rarely channel in French. His French is much better than mine, but, you know. I'm not so comfortable with it, but he has come through and done it, but I'm not so comfortable. But channel always in the language that you're comfortable in. So we're going to talk about sound for the channel. So sound is really important for channels. So in the Bible, it says, in the beginning was the Word. Sound, not light, was the first entry into physical matter from spirit. So it was actually sound vibration. So we're not talking about singing. We're not talking about even speaking. We're talking about waves of vibration. And if you see recordings, you'll always see waves. It's always recorded. You'll see wave frequency. So it's that wave frequency that we're talking about. And on wave frequency, matter expands on wave frequency. So it's really important to understand this. So your words are being carried, when you're really channeling frequency, your words are being carried on waves like this, waves of light. So, you know, the masters, as I said, the masters have always said to me, I could say blah, 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 because the words are not important. It's actually the frequency of energy that I'm imparting. And that is the role of a divine channel, to bring through frequency. So waves of frequency remind us of the law of vibration. Everything has a vibration. A wave of resonance that calls energy to us and repels energy from us. All vibrations hold a unique frequency that can be measured to a particular resonance. Hence we talk about the law of resonance. Frequency has resonance, in other words, vibration. When we understand this concept, then we understand the universe, and so much changes for us when we realize that everything is possible based on the law of vibration and the law of resonance. So everything that's in matter actually holds vibrations of energy like this. Sometimes very compact, sometimes very elongated. But it's always waves of vibration. Everything, energy, everything moves on waves of vibration. And they have their own unique sound. That's why sometimes you can hear the universe if you listen. Sound can change molecular structure in the physical form. Through practice and experience, with sacred intent, we can learn to shift the frequencies of molecules using sound. And we know this. Sacred sounds made with the highest intention can interface with different planes of consciousness, invoking and evoking different levels of awareness. Depending on the vibration of the sound we transmit, we can change the resonance of our body, our brain, and our auric field. So it's once again why we use the light language mantras for the chakras, for the energy bodies, because it actually changes and transforms energy, consciousness, through resonance. So Magdalenes are asked to open to the flow of sound as it moves through your channel when you are guided to do so. So it may be channeled through chants, through light language, through tones, mantras, and more. But you are asked to avoid creating the sound through your mind, which a lot of people tend to do. They're creating the sound through their mind, even light language. As a divine channel, sound is a powerful tool to offer if it flows through your channel. Basically, if it flows through the waves of resonance, through the frequency. The sound needs to be carried through the frequency. Let go of any fear or doubt if it arises through your channel. In the early days of channeling, choosing to allow your sacred light language to flow through you before you offer divine wisdom through your channel supports you to expand and open your channel enough to receive the divine wisdom through your divine presence. So before you channel, and it's a really good thing to practice, because not only if you're confident in your channel, but it actually helps to get out of your mind. It actually helps to open your frequency, to come into resonance instead of being in the head. And so it helps you to come into no mind. The channels with strong minds, the doubters, those who have doubt, those who have fear, Those who question and analyze and those who try to control through their mind can use their light language, toning, or a mantra to release the power of the mind. It helps to let go of emotions such as fear, anxiety, or resistance. So we can practice opening up to our light language. So drop into your heart core. Everyone just close eyes, drop into your heart core. Just breathing deeply. And just begin to breathe in for the count of 4 and out for the count of 6. So just breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then breathe out deeply, the count of 6. And just continue with that breath for a moment. And then drop down into your heart chakra and just activating your spiritual current. Breathing in and breathing out. Just activating that spiritual current. And when you feel grounded and present, just begin to allow sound to come out of your mouth on the breath, on the out breath. Whatever sound might come out. You might like to begin with Om, La, Ma, Nom. Just Om, La, Ma, Nom. Maybe just let it come out on each out breath. Or you might have your own sounds. Any sound. Just letting the sound flow. Doesn't have to make sense. Just let it come through. It's being carried on your breath. Just let the frequency of your channel take over and flow. And just allow whatever sound to come out from your soul. Just allowing your soul to speak through you with sound. It might sound like gibberish or nonsense. Just let it flow. Just let it flow. Let it flow with your breath. Have fun with this. Just let it flow. Doesn't matter. It doesn't need to make sense to your mind. Doesn't need to make sense to anyone. It just needs to flow from your soul on your breath. No words that you understand. Nonsense words. Gibberish. Whatever comes out. Just let it flow. In your body work, we're going to get you to be doing this before you channel. Maybe for a minute, maybe for 2 minutes, maybe for 5 minutes, before words come through, before you allow the words to come through. To get you to go out of your minds. So take a deep breath, give thanks to your soul. And as you just come back into your hearts, just observe how you're feeling. Just observe. Observe if this has expanded you, if it's contracted you through fear. Is your mind in control? Just observe what's going on with your energy right now. Just be the witness of your own energy. So I'm going to get you to practice with that sound with your body as you channel. It's going to be part of your changing life work. Another good tool to practice with when your channel's a bit stuck, when you're feeling that you can't let it out, you can't surrender, is the cat-cow pose. It's a yoga pose, as most of you know. A well-known yoga posture that releases reaction, control, fear, emotions and stress, as while it calms the mind. But we have a little twist in it. You start on your hands and knees with your wrists directly under your shoulders and your knees directly under your hips. Place your shins and knees hip width apart. Center your head in a neutral position and soften your gaze downward. This is in your manual. Begin by moving into cow pose. You inhale as you drop your belly towards the mat. Lift your chin and chest and gaze up toward the ceiling, or keep your head facing front. Broaden your shoulder blades and draw your shoulders away from your ears. The next move is into cat pose. As you exhale, draw your belly to your spine and round your back toward the ceiling. It should look like a cat stretching its back. You can see the diagram. Release the crown of your head toward the floor, but don't force your chin to your chest. As you exhale, stick your tongue out as far as you can and sound a long, drawn-out ah. And release all pent-up energy, all fear, all stress, all your emotions. And then go back into cow pose and then go back to cat pose and do your releasing. Really good thing to do it 5 to 15 times. Good to do before you channel to release old energy and open your channel more deeply. Try it because it really works. It's a great release. It's a great stress releaser before you're doing a channel. Normally in yoga they don't do the tongue out and the but but we do. So really good one to do. We were practicing it when we were in Crete actually, and everyone found it really, really good when we were on our last retreat. So, which was a few years back now. So it's a really good one to you work with to let go of things. Okay, sorry, I'm just keep losing you all. There you go. The second tool that might be good, channel frequency, is an energy vibration measured by the number of waves of energy that pass the point in space in units of cycles per second. Frequency is waves of energy that move through a point in space. So when we talk about frequency, it's actually waves of energy. The speed of sound travels much slower than the speed of light, and because of this, sound vibrations are received with ease and grace through the human body cells. So, when there is a lot of high light frequency being channeled, sound helps the body to open to receive the powerful frequency of light being transmitted. So it's really a good thing to sound a little bit for yourself, to open up the channel more, to expand, and for the body to become more comfortable as it receives that high frequency light. And it's also really, really good for the person receiving, because their body is happy to open to the sound, but may not be so happy to open to light frequency. It often goes into resistance to light frequency because it's very intense. So the thing is, when you sound, it helps them receive the frequency of light that your channel is bringing through. It will also help them to receive the words. So quite a while ago, quite many years ago, the masters, I grew up believing I couldn't sing, so I never used to sound, that's for sure. And the masters started asking me to sound during channels, which I found really uncomfortable because I don't like to sound anything, sing, sound, anything. And so, being the divine channel that I am and following guidance as I do, I had to follow the guidance of this. So I had to open my mouth and allow sound to come out. Now, the masters told me these were ancient prayers that they were channeling through me that actually opened up consciousness. So you'll notice in a lot of my channels that I offer, there is sound that comes out. Now, you know, I was always uncomfortable about this because my sound isn't fabulous. It's not, I haven't got a high voice. My voice is usually quite deep, and I'd love to have a really high voice, but I don't have one. But it's not about the voice. It's not about the sound. It's about the vibration of energy that I'm bringing through. Because that vibration, when I sound that vibration, is opening up the physical body, mine and the person receiving, to receive the light waves, whereas they may reject the light waves. So sound can be very important. So we have to, like me, we all have to get over ourselves and let sound out, because otherwise we allow ourselves to get in the way of doing that. And I used to go, oh no, they're going to ask me to sound, and here they are. They're, you know, I get this little prod, go and sound, and I'll be, oh no, I don't want to sound, you know, and I have to open up this sound and channel sound, and I'd struggle with that. But now I just go, oh well, okay, I'm sounding, because I know what it does, you know. So please be conscious and aware. Some of you may have wonderful voices, but it's not about singing. This is not about singing. This is a toning of frequency. It's all about resonance and the frequency that the sound is bringing through, whatever it is, and allow it to come through the channel, not through the mind. You know, if I listen to you, I can tell you if it's mind or if it's channel. It's very easy to tell because there's no frequency when it's coming through the mind. It might sound really pretty, but it has no frequency. So once again, develop that nonsense speak to get you out of your mind. So high frequency light often creates resistance for people, not for some, but for most people. Most bodies are very resistant to receiving light, high frequency, because it highly activates them, which often causes agitation in their physical body or mind, and even problems sleeping. So this is why sounding, like toning or chanting, is much more easily received by the human body and mind. Everyone likes singing. Everyone likes Sounding, everyone likes that. Chanting, because it brings through that frequency. But bringing the light frequency through is what is also needed, because it's just not about the sound frequency. The sound frequency opens the body, the light frequency transforms the cells. So without the light frequency, there is no transformation at a deep level. There's only an opening. Yeah? I mean, it feels good to be open, but it feels much better when that light frequency is allowed to penetrate and open up. We know this in universal rays healing. We spend 20 minutes before we start bringing through universal rays, because they're high frequency light rays. And if we brought them through before we actually prepared the body, the people on the table would get up and walk away, or they'd go into great resistance. They'd get agitated. Their body would go into pain because they wouldn't be able to receive. So we prepare the body with sound, with movement, with energy, with prana. So doing this is so important. Working with sound waves prepares the human body to receive the high frequency light rays that your channel evokes. Sound assists you and others to receive the divine light with grace. Sound helps to integrate what you are receiving through your channel and the frequency you are offering. So it helps you as a channel, and it helps the person receiving to receive at a deeper level. So when you are guided, introducing sound to your channel opens the cells of any being you're working with, so they may receive what you are sharing with them without their mind interfering and filtering the divine truth and wisdom being channeled. Sound allows the higher frequencies of a master, divine presence, or a higher self to be integrated and anchored into the cellular memory of a being, and not the energy of the ego or the mind. So sound is a very big part of being a divine channel. So you can practice using mantras to open and activate your channel if you want. Try using chakra mantras or tones with an open heart. As you chant a mantra, tune into your energy field and feel its frequency. Feel the difference in your field as the sound waves emanate out into your energy bodies, because as you sound, it's going out into your field, so it's opening up all your field. Become the witness of your energy as you chant a mantra and observe how your energy fields change. Can you feel the difference? So it's about discovering that. So obviously your changing life work is going to be around this. The other thing with sound, please stop listening to popular music. We advise all divine channels to avoid listening to any music with negative vibrations or words, because the mind easily attaches itself to the words of the song, and often those words are not of a high frequency vibration. Most of the words in songs today and for the last so many decades are all old karmic stories, and our mind attaches to them even when we're not conscious of it, and we're singing along da 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 to the loss and the terror and can't live without you, and oh, you're my light and everything, and you know, all of this stuff. You make me happy, I'll never be happy without you, and you know, it goes on and on and on. So we don't really want to, you know, sound is coming into our body on these sound waves, and it's all these karmic stories that are being told on these sound waves, and it's being integrated into our being. So be very careful what you listen to. Songs are like mantras when you play them again and again, so be mindful of what the message is in the song. So, you know, there's lots of love songs about love lost or codependent messages, and it just taps into all the unresolved karmic consciousness held by you and all the human collective, which of course you are connected to. Songs evoke old memories, old stories and programs that may not serve you. If you listen to music, then we suggest you listen to music without words, or to music with words that you don't understand, so that you do not get involved with the messages in the song that program your mind into a belief system that cannot serve you. There's some really good frequency, vibration, sound or music on YouTube that you could listen to. So you could, you know, look at that. So a divine channel needs to be really mindful of what you are repeatedly listening to, as this energy always programs your mind. So this includes TV, the news, dramatized stories, songs and social media. You know, all the social media is just as bad as the news. YouTube, just be careful what you're listening to. If it does not raise your frequency or create reactions such as anger or frustration in you, then do not listen to it. So if it doesn't raise your frequency, if it creates reactions such as anger or frustration or sadness or whatever, don't listen to it. Focus on sounds that uplift your frequency. It's really important for you as a divine channel to do that. It's all about the sound. So it's about avoid creating filters. As a divine channel, you don't want filters. When you start channeling, we recommend you stop listening to and reading the channeling of others so that you are not creating a filter in your mind for the wisdom that is coming through from your higher self, angelic presence, or your divine presence. So it's a really good idea. I mean, you're doing this course, so you're going to listen to my channels, of course, from the masters, but try and stop reading lots of channeled books and stuff like that at the moment. When I first started channeling, the masters asked me not to read any channeled books or listen to podcasts, that sort of stuff, etc. Why? Because all of that stuff just gets programmed into your mind. And if you're listening to that all the time, you're going to start channeling that. You're just going to regurgitate that channel, you know? So you don't want to be doing that. You want to be actually channeling your higher self or your divine presence, not regurgitating my channel or someone else's channel. You want to be channeling your channel. The divine spirit reveres the physical form, for it sees it in its perfection. The physical body is a reflection of all that is in each microscopic cellular function. So it is important for you to understand that each part of you holds consciousness in the physical form, and every part of you is connected to the creation force of source. Every Magdalene is asked to honor and accept your physical form. Now, I'm just wondering if we're going to go into a different section here. I'm just going to have a look. It's about accepting your channel. That's Rachel, can you tell me what the time is, please? Because I haven't got it on my computer.
Well, here it's Sydney time is 10:17.
Okay. So I'm not going to go into the body stuff with you at the moment. We'll move that along because I know we're getting really late. So we're going to just move out of that at the moment. We'll have to come back to this. Is all about looking after your body, which is really, really important. You can read it in your manual, but I will put it into the next lesson and see how we go. We just have been pushing things back. So, and I want you to receive this activation. So, we're going to move into that. So your changing life work for this lesson is to, with your buddy, to practice sounding your light language, to open your channel with your buddy. So I want the two of you to begin to channel light language before you channel for each other. Practice sounding your light language to an animal, such as a dog or a cat, a baby or a tree or a place in nature, and observe what happens with you with each experience. Yeah? So animals love light language, so do babies. So, and trees really appreciate you going and doing some light language with them. So out you go and practice sharing your light language with some other sentient beings beside human beings. Yeah? But you can practice with your buddy as well and get some feedback. So before you open your channel to share with words, light language for at least a couple of minutes. I want you all to practice that. Don't be shy, practice it. But go and practice with your dog or your cat, with someone's baby or a tree or even out in nature. Just go out in nature and sound your light language. Beautiful. And observe what happens to your stream. Observe what happens to your being, to your channel. So over the next 21 days, because the activation we're going to do is all about faith. So over the next 21 days, you are being asked to hold, where you hold lack of faith in your divine presence. You're being asked to breathe, to receive this information, allow it to come to you. Not to reject it or to deny it or pretend you've got lots of faith when there's a part of you that's saying it hasn't. Allow this consciousness of resistance and separation to come to you so that you may see it, acknowledge it, accept it, and embrace it. Practice unconditional love. Then choose to bring it back to the pure light by doing the 6 steps of karmic release using the divine decree. Now you can do this with your buddy. You might get your buddy to help you with it. Yeah. The other thing, Lady Ishtar in this activation asks you to create a code of faith. So there is a guideline to creating an intentional code. You are asked to write down what the intention is by writing it down without vowels. Then delete the repeated consonants and create a code with remaining letters. So the intention is divine faith and wisdom. So you delete the vowels and this is what you end up with. You delete the double consonants and that's what you end up with. What remains are the letters you use to create your intentional code. So how you do it? The letters can be in uppercase, lowercase, or a mixture of both. You don't need to, there's no rule to it. Then without lifting your pen off the paper, you write all the letters on the paper in one long continuous flow. All the letters need to touch in some way. So you're writing those D, V, N, F, T, H, W, S, M. Now the letters can be upside down, they can be roundabout, but they all need to be written in order, and they can be upper or lowercase or a mixture, and your pen needs not leave the paper as you write the letters. Once you have done this, sit in meditation and receive what colors your code needs to be and what other images or symbols need to be added to your code. Perhaps there is some scripting you're going to do. You might add some glyphs or symbols. Allow yourself to channel this now. You will receive the guidance of what this needs to be. Then when you are guided, your code is complete. This may take you a few days to do. It might take you a week. Ask your divine presence to give you the mantra for this code in light language. Receive the light language and then receive the meaning of that light language in your native language, whether it be Russian, English, German, French, whatever it is. To use the code when it is complete, look into the code, sound the mantra 12 times daily for 21 days. Now this is the guidance of Lady Ishtar. So if you're struggling with any of that, let me know. Some of you who came to Crete with us will remember this. We did these codes there, but I think the directions are in your manual. They're pretty obvious. Now, with the activations now, we have key wisdoms that come. This is actually in the activation. This is the teaching of the master. It's Lady Ishtar who's teaching this. So I've pulled the key teachings out just so we can look at them, answer any questions about them before we go in and listen to the activation. In this way, the mind's already receiving the teachings. You don't have to listen so much with your mind when you do the activation. And if there's any questions, now's the time to ask. So she says, when you choose to develop faith, your doubts, questions, resistance, and separation energy is released. Divine channels have no room for separation energy in your auric field because it blocks your channel flow. Developing faith is a work of love for yourself. It asks you to honor and love yourself, so you create this gift for yourself. To have faith is to acknowledge the divine within you. To have faith is to acknowledge the divine within you. When you have faith, it creates an acceptance of your divinity, and you release all your doubt, your questions, and resistance to the divine within you. When you open to faith, there is complete flow through your channel, and the frequency of divine will flows through you without limitation or blocks. When there is pure faith, then grace flows through the channel, the grace of the divine spirit, your divine spirit. When you have faith, you expand and open to your channel. Only with faith may the presence of the divine move through you. Practice following the will of the divine without questions and doubts. Choose to have faith in the will of the divine, because it always brings divine wisdom to you. There is always grace when you follow the will of the divine. So this is very much about what is so important for divine channels. If you are lacking in faith and you have no faith in your divine presence, no faith in your higher self, and no faith in yourself, then you will really struggle to open your divine channel. But the more you open to faith, the more you come into trust, the more you come into love of self. So this is the teaching that is coming to you now from Lady Ishtar, that she gave to us. So everyone just, you can get comfortable. It's only 30 minutes, so you can get comfortable. And just allowing yourself to relax. No more distractions, no more fiddling, no more doing anything else, just allowing yourself to relax and be present and choosing to receive. Because when we're fiddling and we're not relaxed, when we're not just sitting and being quiet and calm, we're actually in resistance. We're actually not willing to receive what is being offered. So come in, relax, lie down, let go. I'm just going to put the sharing on to the audio, so it's computer audio. There we go. Okay, so it's not even quite 30 minutes, so I'm assuming no one had any questions. If anyone did, before we finish, probably best to ask me now. I'm sorry I didn't ask. Did anyone have a question before we go into this meditation? Good. Okay. All right. If you do and you think of something, just email me. And and another thing, it's a really good idea to have a piece of paper and a pen right next to you for this one, because you actually have to receive something. So if you haven't got that, I'll just give you a minute to make sure you do have it. Just keep it next to you, so you can write down what you receive, because you need to send it to me afterwards. Everyone right? Good. Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm just starting to breathe, sacred flame of your divine self. Breathe it into your heart. Breathe it out all around you. Send it out to all 12 bodies. Just breathing deeply. Breathing into the heart. And breathing out all around you. Coming to your sacred place to expand the sacred flame within you. And breathing out all around you. Coming to your sacred place to expand the sacred flame within you. Let us anchor this divine flame into the earth heart chakra.
with our breath. And coming back into the center of our being. And with our out breath, sending that divine flame up to source. And coming back into your center, breathing deeply of your sacred flame. And with the next out breath, sending it out to your right, filling your masculine twin flame. Breathing in, breathing out. And breathing in deeply with your out breath, sending it out to your left, to the feminine twin flame, expanding and activating feminine twin flame. And coming back into your heart center. Breathing deeply. With your next out breath, sending it out the back of your heart, opening the gateway of receptivity. And breathing deeply again into your heart. With your next, sending that sacred flame out in front of your heart through your gateway of transmission. May all that you transmit flow on the frequency of your sacred flame. May all that you receive flow on the frequency of your sacred flame. And coming back into your heart center. And with your next out breath, send the sacred flame out from your heart down to the left of your feet into the earth, anchoring the pillar of faith. Then coming back into your heart. Breathing deeply. With your next outburst, send the sacred flame out to your right, down by your right foot, into the earth, anchoring the pillar of grace. And then breathing deeply, breathing deeply. And coming back into your heart and sitting in your heart. And beloved heart, we hail the Lady Ishtar that steps to you now. And we come to speak to you of faith. Faith in the wisdom of the presence of the divine within you. And we come to share with you that it is important for you to choose to develop faith so that your doubt, your question, your resistance and your separation may be fully relieved. For as the divine channel, beloved one, there is no room for it. All must be resolved, beloved heart. And one who may feel this is so much to do, we say to you, it is a work of love for thyself, a work of honoring thyself, of coming into great love of thyself, so that you may give this to you, to give yourself the gift of faith. And so we speak to you now of it and ask you to let all go that creates your resistance to faith, and to come into the practice of faith in your life. To have faith, beloved one, is to acknowledge the divine within you, to accept this divinity of you, and to embrace it wholeheartedly, to have no doubt, no question, no resistance to the divine within you. And to let go all separation that you have created to the divine within you, beloved one. For only when you do this will there be flow, complete flow. And the frequency of the divine will flow through you with no limitation, no block. And then divine wisdom and truth will flow. For this is the key, beloved. Faith, pure faith. And when there is pure faith and grace flow through the channel, the grace of the divine spirit, and you expand and you open to it, and all lives through you. And no matter what the mind creates or thinks, the consciousness of you expands and enlightens, beloved one. For with faith and only with faith, may the presence of the divine move through you. For when there is no faith, beloved one, and there is doubt and question, there is no space for the presence of the divine to be present. So we ask you, beloved heart, to choose to develop faith. And it simply requires you to release your doubt and question, to release your resistance to the divine. And how does one do this? Practice, dear heart, to follow the will of the divine, without question, without doubt. Simply practice and allow. As it unfolds in your life, and have faith in the will of the divine, beloved heart. Have faith in this will, for it always will bring to you divine wisdom, and there will always be grace when you follow the will of the divine. This is the gift we ask you to give yourself, the gift of faith, beloved one. The gift of faith. And as you do, Mary Magdalene comes now. She brings many spheres of golden light for you. 12 spheres of golden light. And she begins to place these in your chakras, to illuminate, to awaken all that it is for you to acknowledge. To acknowledge wherever you are holding doubt and resistance to your divine self, the presence of God within. And you're asked to breathe, beloved hearts, and to receive this gift from her. Yanda That's okay, beloved one. Replace the cold into the hot shock, white and gold. And it begins to circulate in the heart portal of your being, falling into all parts of you. That resist the embrace of the divine presence within you. That struggle with this truth for you. To breathe, beloved hearts, to breathe. And over the next 21 days of your time, you are each asked to focus on this, to focus on wherever you hold no faith in the divine self within, wherever you doubt the presence of the divine within you, question it, resist it, wherever you have no faith, beloved one, in the presence of the divine within, you are asked to work with it, to breathe, to receive, to allow it to come to you. Do not turn from it, beloved heart. Allow this consciousness of resistance and separation to step to you, that you may see it, accept it and embrace it, and bring it back to the pure light of you, so that you may restore your faith, beloved heart. Coming into the wisdom of you and bringing this gift to you. And this is an auspicious time for you to create this for yourself. And we ask you each to create a code of faith in the divine self. To create this code, beloved one, and to look upon sound its mantra that you will receive 12 times. And for the next 21 days from the time you have created this code, to work with this each day, to assist all who be resolved, where there is no faith in the presence of the divine within. Breathe deeply now, beloved heart. Breathe deeply. And as you do, we ask you now to call your angelic highest self. Welcome them. As we go to the angelic realms to wrap themselves around you, to support you. Breathe deeply and receive this assistance and support, beloved one. Allow the angelic realms to be present. Allow your angelic high self to come, connecting deeply with them. Connect with them, heart to heart. Open your heart to them, honoring them, loving them. And then breathe deeply, beloved ones, connecting third eye to third eye with them. Opening the third eye, connecting deeply with your angelic high self that you have called by name. And allow this part of you to be fully present with each breath that you take. To connect deeply with them. And as you breathe, we will ask you, dear ones, to connect more deeply with them. And then ask your angelic higher self, what is the wisdom of faith for me? Open your heart and receive this guidance. Breathe deeply, open to receive. And when you have received this guidance, ask again of your angelic higher self, what do I need to do to implement this guidance in my life? Then breathe deeply and choose to receive from your angelic higher self.
And when you have received this guidance, dear ones, choose to implement this guidance, to follow this guidance in your life. For this is the key. Have faith in the guidance that you receive. Trust in your angelic higher self. We bless you and we honor you, dear one. Blessed be.
Blessings, everyone. Sleep well for those who are going to bed. Have a great day for those who are stepping into the day. Much love to you all.